After you finish creating and initializing your new language project, the next step is to go to our website and download the special documents we've prepared to help you begin building your lexicon and grammar. So you can go to alltheword.org, go to the Downloads page and Software. Scroll down here, Download Grammar Documents. Then you get that download and copy these files into your TBTA directory, wherever you have TBTA installed. Usually it'll be installed in a folder called TBTA. For these videos, I'm doing it here, so I'll put them here. And for each of these documents, there are two of them. One is an empty template, and the other one is the same file with the English data in it. So Ruth with implicit info, there's an empty template and then an English one. Grammar introduction, there's an empty template and then the one with English data. For all of these verb phrases, there's an empty one, which you can use in your language project, and then there's one with the English data. So we supply all of the documents, we supply duplicates, and they all have the English data in them. So I'd like to look at these one by one. First of all, these are numbered because we will use them in a sequence. And the second reason they're numbered is because we want them up at the top before all of your other TBTA files. So let's go through these one at a time. Let's look at this one, Ruth with implicit info. Okay, we're not ready to use Ruth. We won't be ready to use Ruth for a while. But what this document has is, it has a row for each verse, Ruth 1:1, and then a row for each sentence. Initially, when we start building our lexicon and grammar, we need to go sentence by sentence, because each sentence will have numerous issues. So here's a document. Now this is the one with the English data, remember? So I have the English over here, highlighted in yellow. Wherever your MTTs are asked to provide a translation, we always put that in a column labeled target, highlighted in yellow. So we ask our MTTs to translate this text into the target language. And that's what this is for. So we have a row for each sentence in each verse in the Book of Ruth. We always start with a grammar introduction, and then we move into the Book of Ruth. Grammar introduction. So here, this is the first document, and there will be a subsequent video about this particular document, but this has roughly 250 sentences in it with different aspects and moods and illocutionary forces and relative clauses and complement clauses and adverbial clauses, and the English is over here, right here, a person walked. Then we ask your MTTs to translate these sentences into the target language. And over here in the fourth column, there's some commentary about what's significant about this particular sentence. A person walked, and talks about the noun being on participant tracking, having a value of first mention, etc. So we'll talk about this in another video, but the point is, you give this document to your MTTs and ask them to translate all of these sentences into the target language. Okay, this document is entirely optional. This one is for the linguists, not for the MTTs. And there will be another video about this. But here, you can define the features and the forms for each part of speech in your lexicon. And then you can include simple spell-out rules and simple morphophonemic rules. This is all for English. So, for example, past tense is generally the stem plus the ed suffix, but then there are morphophonemic rules. Y plus ed goes to I plus ed, E plus ed goes to ed, etc. So that's what this document is for. This document is to help you build your phrase builder rules. And this one, we start with verb phrases, and we have simple sentences like John walked. And then we have, we, the people at All the Word, we provide these features. And later, TBTA will scan through this document and build these rules. So you ask your MTTs to translate these sentences into the target language, and then a linguist puts parentheses around the verb and brackets around the verb phrase. And then TBTA will scan through these and build many of your rules for you. These are different aspects, different polarities, etc., different moods. So that's what this document is for. And a linguist provides the parentheses around the verb and the brackets around the verb phrase. Then TBTA also needs to know the form of the verb, and that's what these are over here. So we'll talk about this more in another video. This one is the same, just verb phrases, same as this one. Okay, Lexicon and Grammar Builder, Grammar Introduction. In this document, we have all of the vocabulary that we need for the grammar introduction sentences. You remember that first document I showed you about the grammar introduction sentences? Okay, this has the vocabulary for those sentences. So if you want, you can either enter the vocabulary manually inside TBTA, or you can give this document to your MTTs and ask them to provide the target language equivalents for each of these words. And then TBTA will scan through this document and import all of this data. So you provide the target language words, you provide features, and TBTA will import all of this. After finishing the grammar introduction sentences, then we go to a short story about David and Goliath. So this document has all of the necessary vocabulary for the David and Goliath story. So again, we ask your MTTs to provide the target language words here and target language sentences. A linguist will provide these features, and then TBTA will import this data. Okay, this is a document for the first chapter of Ruth. We have all the vocabulary that we need. Here are the men's names for Ruth chapter 1. We ask the MTTs to provide the target language equivalents. A linguist needs to provide the features that are relevant for that target language. The women's names, names of places. Here are all the nouns, the verbs, etc. So TBTA will go through this and import all of this data. This is for Ruth chapter 1. And we have similar documents for Ruth chapter 2, Ruth chapter 3, and Ruth chapter 4. So that's what all of these documents are for. Subsequent videos will describe these in detail as we import them and work with the actual data.